on speakerphone, but she couldn't even like say the numbers without. So she'd go through that whole stuttery kind of speech and tell him that this is her assistant and she has that I had her permission to pay her bills. And then I would sit there, and it wasn't even like we called the individual companies, honey. No. We called her accountant because her husband couldn't touch her fucking money until she was dead.
Do you think she was one of those judges that actually kind of got a lesson being learned through her? In a way, because
me and her talked about it one night when I gave her an extra drink because I could tell her pain was really, really high, and the girl had called in for the night, so I was doing a double through the graveyard shift too, and her husband didn't sleep in the same room with her, so I'm sitting beside the bed and I gave her her nighttime toddy, and I had one too. And she said, none of the other girls have a toddy with me. And I said, well, they're idiots because I need it at this point. And she started laughing and shit. And she said, do you want another one? And I was like, I knew she wasn't supposed to have another one. But when I had gotten there, her husband was in the room screaming at her and shit. So I knew she had had a bad day and shit. And he had been there all day. It's his day off. And I got there at 3. And then even after that, it was bad. And this was like 1 in the morning, and she still wasn't asleep because she was so stressed out and in pain. And I was like, yeah, let's do another one. I was going to get her drunk and put her to sleep. What it did was turn her morose. I can't say the right word that I want to. It turned her where she started mulling her life over, her past, her what she had, where she's at now, that kind of thing.
She made her reminisce, but I can't decide if she put her in remiss, which is like a state of
not
reminisce.
So much remiss as she told me
remorse.
It was more a remorse.
That's when you actually are sad about like this. Yeah.
But she felt bad about it. She looked at me and she said, there's things in my life that I honestly would go back and change if I could. She said, at the time that I thought it was right, but now, all these years later, I know I made the wrong decision. And she said, and I don't know if it's God, karma, the fates, whatever it is, but I'm being punished for some of the decisions I've made.
Because as a judge in the Solomon bad call, I think there is a consequence to those.
I do too. I told her, I said, I always wanted to be a judge. And she looked at me and she goes, no, honey, you think you do. She said, I know you do. She said, I bet you even want to be the first judge on the Supreme Court. And I said, yep. And she said, did I put that idea in your head? I said, a little bit, but I also come from a really bad family. She looked at me and she goes, it can't be that bad. I said, Hell's Angel. She goes, okay, never mind. Yes, then I guess you might understand. She said, there's times when you do things on morals and not the technical law because you feel like it's the right thing to do. I said, I take out child molesters for free. She looked at me and she goes, perfect example. I didn't hear that. She said, but you see what I'm saying? Everybody will agree that's a good thing, but the law will put you in prison. My job was to put you in prison. She said, the Green Mile hadn't came out yet, but the conversation she had with me that night is kind of the conversation the black man had with Tom Hanks. Or Tom Hanks had with the black man. How am I going to face God and tell him that I killed one of his greatest